Welcome back, everybody, as we rage on through the day here, of course, in the Quake Pro League, delving into our third matchup of the day after witnessing Nosfer be able to win in a 2-1 fashion over Saigib. It's now time for something a little bit different, Harry, stepping into Game 3, isn't it?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of aggression in the last two matches, especially the first one. That was just ridiculous, but it was incredible at the same time. It's exactly what he wanted to see. And it's like I said before, with Saigib, what can he do? Can he control the areas of the map and actually be able to play that methodically as he could do? He did on one of the maps, but then again, it just came tumbling over for him. We knew Nosfer, as soon as he finds some opening somehow, some way, he'll just abuse it, and he did every single time without fail.
Well, wondering how things are going to go down now, obviously. Zenaku, I think it's still hard to call because we've seen some things from him. We've seen some good moments on LAN. The downside is obviously online. How are things going to affect him? Will he be able to play to his utmost best performance? That is really the big question in my mind. I feel like that is such a big question mark that hopefully over the course of this season we'll get to see better and better things from him as he is going to be facing off versus dramis here today.
We're going to see a lot more of him throughout the coming weeks. It's still very early days, but he played against Nosfer before, and you could see the aggression and the aim was there, but what can he do to complement that? dramis, we knew he didn't have the best of starts either. This could be his time to actually capitalise on the situation, get that first win on the board, give him like a bounce of confidence, we'll say.
Yeah, I think that could be something that he needs, obviously, as well, because there was so much hype behind him. It got to a point where I feel like a lot of people are starting to really be like, look, dramis could actually be absolutely ridiculous. I still feel like there is a big chance to that as well. He's a good player when it comes down to aim. You can see the understanding of the game as well is there. What is going wrong? What can he change? Those are the things that need to be answered, and hopefully over the course of Stage 3, obviously with the weekly competition, we will see that development.
If we see the same as what we saw in Stage 2, then yeah, absolutely, couldn't agree more. Didn't have the best of bouts in terms of how he played at Stage 2 finals, but he had some hard matches and hard brackets going forward, which is totally understandable. But as like I mentioned before, he's one of the most improved players in the North American scene, and I think he can continue on. Like, you know, it could be someone like Chain, where he's literally progressed so high now. He needs to show that consistency, because no point having a little bit of flair here and there like most of the players have shown.
Yeah, well, that's the rough part, right? Is if you have an outcome like Chain where you have one huge result, then it's also hard to follow in those footsteps. You get a lot more people that potentially have their eyes on you. You could have more people scrimming you, and it's also easy to figure out that playstyle, right? Your routes could be analysed, and it could all go awfully for you. Let's have a look at the picks and bans, though, and see if that could potentially swing how we feel like this one is going to go. Looks quite standard, nothing too crazy thrown into the mix there just off the back of the glance. Anything sticking out to you, Harry?
I'd probably say with dramis. Now, he enjoys playing Molten and Vale, and both those maps are there, so it's pretty much laughing in this point. It could be his playground, but we'll have to see how he does against Zenaku. Zenaku's very good at multi-force as well, so it's going to be a huge clash here. Sorlag versus Slash, you know, in terms of movement speed and how they get each other across the map, the speed and agility and how they're going to rotate round, that's going to be an interesting story. Visor comes out for Zenaku. He's literally going to be playing maybe quite passive to find out how he wants to execute certain areas on the map, totally understandable. But Vale, that could be another bloodbath too.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite fun because obviously I feel like at this point people have gone, you know what, when we see Vale, when we see Rafa on Keel, looks like he has quite a bit of fun. And dramis has gone for the same approach there with the Keel coming out. He can be naughty. It is definitely a map that plays into it as well. You get those pineapples out, you cause a bit of chaos. That could be a fun one.
Maybe dramis had a little bit of a, not of a word, but maybe saw how Rafa played and thought, do you know what, I'll have a bit of that. Yeah. I'll see what it's all about. Why have you chosen Kill? He's obviously analysed his gameplay, seeing what he's actually done differently compared to most other players, and dramis has gone, well, I'll copy that slightly, make it into my own style, and see how it works out. It could work out well for him.
Yeah, it's like taking a recipe, but changing a couple of the ingredients. You never know. It might turn out for the better, or it could turn out quite floppy and not ideal.
Yeah, it depends what ingredients it is, though.
If they're key, then obviously you probably don't want to change them. It'll fall apart, Harry.
I'd probably keep the same ingredients because, yeah, I'll probably miss out.
Yeah, it's like making a cake, but instead of using butter, you use bananas.
Yeah, or just not using flour.
Well, let's see how this one's going to go. We are into the game. Zenaku facing off versus dramis. Of course, all of the rest of our games tonight are going to be live as well. No more pre-recorded action. It's all about what is going on now in real time as we do step into it.
Already, well, LG and Rockets in the hands of dramis. How is he going to work with it, though? It seems like he's playing quite aggressively to start off with, but he's waiting for those audio cues to see when he should push up and how he should try and tackle this. But that first rail, beautiful from him. He's definitely going to have to back down just that slightly, but Zenaku may even pretend to back down, but as I say that, it will be going for that Mega Mash to grab it, but gets railed off anyway. But now the heavy straight for dramis, and he's looking like he's in a quite good spot.
Yeah, two nice little rails coming out to open this one up. One straight into the tail of Zenaku, and then a further one into his face. What more can be done? Oh, he was holding the angle, and I think if the timing would have held on for just a little bit longer there, that could have been another rail already. They're playing it very slow, though. No real overcommit, no risks being taken. Although they're both quite close here towards the Mega, that Plasma Trail is going to come out from dramis as he sends himself on a mission to get both of the major items in a matter of seconds there.
As Slash, you're looking for those defensive rails, but he's already done enough damage anyway, and this is his opportunity to try and capitalize on that. But after taking that rocket, he's going to have to back down to see what else needs to be done. Knows he's gone for that rotate anyway. But the Mega is coming up soon, so this could be one of the more clashes we see here. But it will drop down for it. We'll take the risk first. But Zenaku's seen that. It will definitely back away and try and see what he can do. But with that heavy coming, he's going to try and go straight through it anyway. But if he goes at that lift, it could be trouble. But instead managed to back down. Hasn't taken too much damage though. So he is in a very good spot. As it comes up with that LG, managed to get the rail as well. And my words, it could have been his opportunity, but I think he's just a little bit worried in case he does get stepped on.
Ooh. dramis has been doing a great job so far of just poking and prodding from a substantial distance and being able to leave Zenaku really quite broken and bruised as he wanders round right now. We haven't had a single frag yet, though. We are 2 minutes into Molten. We're just waiting for that opening opportunity. I mean, the one upside is for dramis is that his stack is humongous compared to what Zenaku has been able to accumulate. And if they do get into a bust-up, you definitely have to give your favour to dramis.
dramis can easily chase him down if necessary. But at this point in time, with the defensive rails of dramis, he's doing everything that needs to be done, making those little dents in the armor here and there, and it's actually paying off. But even though it's still 0-0, he's showing that presence of, I'm hitting everywhere, I'm doing everything I can, and he's trying to help him figure out exactly what needs to be done. But at some stage, if this keeps up, Zenaku's going to run out of ideas, and dramis will just trample all over him.
dramis playing off the back of the audio cues now, trying to figure out where exactly Zenaku is. Plasma Trail comes out. This could be our first actual firefight, and this is going to be awkward. Zenaku, he had to fall straight back through the teleporter, looks to try and get away, trapped in the rail room now, but they've still not fully been able to commit to a fight.
He was being very cautious, but as we say that, could this be the bout that actually gets the first frag on the board? There's a little bit of damage. Nice LG work from there, but no rockets in terms of damage done for Zenaku. But then again, they're both still trying to contest the power. Barely misses that rail, but that Mega will be in his hands. Going to try and chase him down, but will he go through? He takes the risk anyway. Some nice rockets from him, but both on slightly similar stacks. But dramis doesn't want to take too much of a risk, but this could be his opportunity, but not if... Oh my words, getting that heavy down. But he gets that rail anyway. Will he get another? No, he doesn't. If he did, that would have been the first frag on the board. Zenaku now has to be really careful about his next move.
He is going to have a ginormous grin on his face right now. The fact he's been able to somehow stay alive in that situation is miraculous. dramis should have got the opening kill there at the 4-minute mark. Instead, we fall back into a little bit of a stalemate. There is a stack advantage for dramis. He should have control of the heavy here when it spawns in as well. Still, this has now slowed down the game a lot. Instead of being a 1-0 scoreline, it's still 0-0, and dramis is going to have to look for another opportunity to begin again.
dramis hasn't really given Zenaku much room or openings at all. Like, his defensive rails have been great. He's been making sure he's keeping tabs on those megas and heavies. Very rare that he's missed some of those rails, as you saw from there, but even then, he's keeping him on his toes constantly for that first 5 minutes. Even though it's still 0-0, this could be his main opportunity. He's only on 24 HP. He's got to seriously be careful. He needs to back down, and yes, he does. Very close there between both those players, but dramis just manages to somehow bail out.
Yeah, barely, but he does in the end. Zenaku, for once, actually has a stack advantage as well, and that's quite a substantial thing to say, considering how long we've actually got into this game without a single frag picked up, already halfway through at the 5-minute mark. A little bit of a warning shot fired out from dramis. He is close towards the heavy, but this actually is going to be a fight over it this time. And he's so low, he needs to make his move to rebuild his stack. But the Mega's not up for another 13 seconds. He's going to have to do with surviving just off a couple of small bubbles. This really isn't ideal.
As Slash, it's not really too much of a problem. He can get away, but he needs to seriously be careful with the engagements he's made. Some have been quite close, but he's always put himself in a position where he can get away. But could it be the first frag? Surely it must be, as he gets a few... Oh my goodness, a little bit of damage done. But dramis was way too weak to take that fight.
Goes for the little pre-fire around the corner, just in case Zenaku is going to be coming quickly round the bend to make his move over towards the heavy. It does slow him down and give dramis at least some kind of a stack, a little bit better than what he originally had. Paranoia about the push from above as well, fires off the vertical shot. And luckily, he hasn't been attacked just yet. He needs to be very careful here, though, as Zenaku, if he dives in, he will have the advantage in this fight.
dramis did go for that 10-y twice in a row. He didn't want to be third time lucky. He knew exactly what was to be expected. But could this be the opportunity? Surely so weak. But he gets the heavy anyway. So it's back and full. 49 HP. And even a rail from both these players could have been taken down, apart from dramis getting that health orb to keep himself a little bit healthy for the time being. But my word, it's been a while since we've seen a fragless draw after such a long period of time. But could this be the opportunity? Both of them are still on similar stacks. He's going to try and push an anyway to try and contest that Mega. But the rail still hits off. But my words, if dramis managed to flank or get something done here, then it could be the first frag. But both these players have been so cautious.
Yeah, they're just playing it so carefully rather than running any risks. Zenaku, you would have thought he would have gone down there, but I have never seen a lizard move that fast. Bounces round the corner, my goodness, as she's able to evade to stay alive.
How he evaded it, I have no idea. I think dramis was just being super cautious and knows that this is his map to win. As long as he keeps playing the way he has been, defensively, but not putting himself in a bad spot, he should be okay. Already on a full stack, so he's going to try and scout out where he could be, find out what kind of information he's gathering for. He knows around that rail area, and he's desperate to push him, but that rocket is once more going to keep him at bay.
Yeah, I think literally just taking that one rocket to the face has made him go, nah, you know what, I'm going to wait, I'll rebuild my stack, and then go in again. Yeah, like, that's all it took. The crazy bit is as well, I'm actually quite curious to see just how much damage dramis has done over Zenaku here. Ooh, hang on, here we go. This could finally be the first blood being spilt as they're back into the fight now. dramis, you can see, really quite pushed to the limit here. Scared into this one. They don't want to take any risks whatsoever.
This could just be 1-0. If it goes to a fragless draw into OT, that is absolute madness. But he's chasing him down. He's so weak. A rail will definitely help out, but he's stuck now. This surely dramis can take him down here. But again, decides to back off. Interesting.
No overcommit from either one of them. At some point, though, you've got to make that decision of when you want to fight. You've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock here. dramis' stack is through the roof compared to the small amount Zenaku has been able to scrounge. This is the time where he does need to run. Damn, she farts, but it doesn't matter. There it is. Finally, Sorlag will fall nearly at the 9-minute mark. It's taken around 8 minutes and 40 seconds for dramis to find a kill.
It was just a matter of time, but what can Zenaku do here? He needs to make that progression somehow, some way, but with the rails of dramis, he's just not given the opportunity. Then very lucky to not get railed again. I don't think he expected him to come back up that lift. But now, what is dramis' next move? He's going to play very defensively. He knows he's got the speed and the pace to do it, but not if he's still in the open. He's on 16 HP. He knows that he's going to be in a world of trouble. He ties things up, but it's just 30 seconds left remaining. Zenaku, the stack he has is in a very good spot. It's just a matter of how he can make this engagement, force the engagement to stop dramis from trying to get away. But with 20 seconds left, it's looking difficult, but he knows exactly where he is. Misses a vital rail. And it is, it could be 1-0, Jackie, depending on the circumstances of this next move.
Yeah, with the way this has been going, it does seem like dramis will just be able to shut it down here. Zenaku, he is chasing, sure, but he just can't quite catch up with him. He's got 4 seconds left, and now there is just no time. So, nearly the 2-0, almost doubled his frags there.
I did get a little bit scared.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the fact it's come down to that, though, a 1-0 scoreline, damage is actually fairly close, all things considered. it's not that much farther ahead. It seemed like dramis had done so much throughout the entire course of that, but could just never shut it down. Both of them willing to play the most calm Quake we've seen, in the sense of, if my stack isn't exponentially higher than yours and I don't feel like I'm guaranteed that frag, I'm just not going to risk it.
26 items, I think, with Mega and Heavy combined.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, but that's why dramis was playing how he wanted to play. He knew that it was going to be a very slow game, but even though it didn't look it in a lot of circumstances, he wanted to make sure it was a guaranteed kill. His defensive rails were absolutely on point during those first 6 or 7 minutes. It was just a matter of time, like I mentioned before. Zenaku wasn't really given a chance at contesting many of these items, and it was making life very difficult for him. But as you saw there was only a couple of moments where I felt like dramis should have just extended that a little bit more. But once more, he was worried that he actually has a bigger stack than he expected. But there was some of those bouts I was just surprised that either player managed to get away.
Molten, it's definitely a map where we get some really interesting results a lot of the time, but I think this one takes the cake in the fact that it almost was a game with literally no frags. It nearly came down to a forced sudden death scenario, but it wasn't needed in the end. dramis with, what, a pixel of his tail there on quite a disgusting shot to get the only kill.
Just shouldn't have a tail.
No.
That's
Chop that
what
off.
happens. Yeah, just
get that gone.
Well, could it be in OT now? Still playing.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's just selfish, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really, isn't it? Yeah, it's. I don't think he'll be too happy about that, will he?
Yeah. Hashtag remove the tail. Crazy stuff, though. A ridiculous result coming through on our first map, and of course that is only the first of the series. Still more to come here. dramis currently leading with 1 map and 1 frag.
Yeah, I think. Well, let's be real. Very rare occurrence. When we say a low frag game, we normally think like 2-1, 4-3, something like that.
Not just 1.
No. Yeah, that is mad. Like, you normally expect like a 4-3, maybe from someone like Base or Dewey, something like that. But from these two players, it was aggressive, but it was kind of, it's like a passive aggression. It was kind of, trying to show that, hello, I am here, but at the same time, I'm going to do some chip damage to you, and I'm going to keep doing it until you're at least taken down. But that was, even though it was just 1 frag, that was a frag and a half.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, when you have a cat, and it's like, you're allowed to look, but you can't touch.
Yeah.
You get too close, the cat's going to go away. That's what that was. Every time they got close enough to potentially have a fight, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah, hold on.
Keep your space.
Yeah, calm down. I'm not having any of that. But it didn't have 9 lives. He had 1, really, so that's a shame.
Yeah. I love it. But yeah, wow. dramis still proving that he does have definitely the moves, though. At least in terms of the movement we had coming out there with the crouch, slide, and slash. It looked lovely. Obviously, you could see him dancing around the heavy every time, just being able to go around the outskirts, grab both of the health bubbles. He looks like he was very much coming out swinging. Same can be said, though, for Zenaku, in the sense of that saw lag was quick. Some of the evasion he pulled off was actually pretty tasty. If this keeps up throughout the series, we could actually have some nice mechanical display, at least, on our hands.
Yeah, you could tell that if you're down, as Sorlag, for example, it's very difficult to kind of make a comeback. With Slash, you can get out of so many situations, and it can be a real pain in the backside, and it's happened on numerous occasions when we've seen in the past in previous matches. That's why dramis was being so careful. That could be why he didn't want to overextend, because he knows if he gives away that 1 frag, all hell will break loose.
Yeah, it's true. You never know. Zenaku, it still feels like there's times where he could be a little bit of an unknown quantity in the way he approaches things. The Enlightened one. I didn't even realise that was the nickname that we had gone for that one.
I like it, though.
Yeah. It makes him sound quite, quite above everyone. It's like, what's he so enlightened on?
It's LG, maybe.
Well, maybe.
Even though I didn't see much of it.
Could have enlightened you up.
Oh, I like that one. I
like
that.
Stop it. Well, here we go, Harry. Map 2. Let's see where this is going to go. As obviously Zenaku back in the arena for another brawl versus dramis.
So, dramis again, waiting patiently. He knows what that piercing sight. So, Zenaku needs to watch his boundaries and see where things can pay off depending on where he actually executes certain areas on the map. But so far, so good. Both playing very passive. It's actually more passive in Molten Force, which I'm a little bit surprised about. But let's be real. It's early days.
Yeah, not even a minute in yet. You never know. Let a couple of rotations of major items go, and then we'll see if it's still going to be as slow as Molten was. Ooh. A near rail coming out there. You could see that dramis was setting up for it, but didn't quite feel like he'd be able to actually pull that one off. Doesn't fire off the warning shot yet. Zenaku could start to establish a little bit of control as well. If he wants it, he is close towards the heavy. He does have that dire orb to be able to get an extra little bit of mobility out. And that tactical visor is about to come up in a couple of seconds here as well for Zenaku. So this is where the game could get real. I like this, though. That's huge.
Yeah, that was incredible. I feel like dramis was worried about getting the heavy, because even if he gets it, it's not going to help him too much. Zenaku would have that height control, height advantage, and as far as some rockets and rails down, just to make it seem as though it wasn't even worth picking up that heavy. But it doesn't matter anyway. It was worth to try. Didn't do him justice. But he's going to go for that flank round anyway. Zenaku stack's looking very healthy at this point. And then we'll be getting that heavy, so dramis is to figure out what he can do, but if his defensive rails was as good as the last map, he shouldn't have too much trouble.
Again, a little slower approach there. Trying to bait him in with the Mega. Oh, he does fall for it. Zenaku so close to his own demise here. Somehow, he's been able to return damage on towards dramis as well, who barely replenishes his stack off the back of one of those small bubbles and a little collection of a light armor. I don't know how they've both actually been able to get away with this. He lands a rail, but it's still not a frag. What is going on?
It's just a matter of time now. He's really keeping Zenaku on his toes. And this could be the first frag. Yes, it is. And gets the Mega to complement things further. My word. It took dramis a little bit of time there, but got the right engagement he needed. But surely this is a second one. And depending on the shotgun shots of Zenaku, no, not going to happen. Going to try and wait for that spawn. Gets a lovely amount of damage. I think that's at least 80 damage on spawn. And he's trying to do what he can. But yeah, you did the right move, did the right move, my friend. Just back away, get the heavy, restack, and then push out once more.
2 kills already achieved for dramis now. That's double the frags from Molten. Already a nice way to start off the map. Let's see where it will go from here, though. Zenaku firing off the warning rockets, trying to at least deny that line of sight for dramis. Sets himself up on the high ground, though. And he's just going to be looking for another opportunity to pick up a frag. 2 seconds till heavy's up. He should be able to snatch it away. Zenaku most likely going to get the trade here and walk away with the Mega.
I do like this from dramis. He's been hovering around the top rockets area quite often over the last minute, but he has been changing things up a lot. You know, he's been hiding on the light armor side as well. He's making sure that, you know, he's not always doing the same thing constantly every single time, because eventually Zenaku's going to work him out, and he will do after that lift jump over to the rockets. I didn't get that first round, but Zenaku did. Misses another one. This could be a time for dramis to play on the defensive and see how Zenaku actually reacts, but it seems like he won't be going for the charge, decides to get that heavy, completely understandable. But dramis did know where it was. It will be down up to the rail, and it's going to try and keep him on his toes once more.
Firing out those warning bolts, hoping to at least do a little bit of damage. Zenaku, stack, ridiculously big. It's a hefty boy compared to what dramis has been able to accumulate now. So if they do get into a fight, dramis needs to do a lot of chip damage with this rail. He started it off right, but can he get the follow-up? It's a near miss there. Sees him dive down back over towards the banana area, trying to spam out those rockets to really punish. But he's not landing too many heavy hits. It's getting a little bit awkward.
Just trying to keep him away from that Mega. They both wanted to contest it, but it just went in his favour, those nail shots. And again, with that rail, he's going to try and get one more, and barely manages to back off. But dramis' defense is very well polished. You can see that he's practiced these routines, made sure that he can at least keep his opponents at bay consistently. This is much better from what we've seen in the previous match with dramis.
He's got a good understanding of his routes around the map, but also just how to make it uncomfortable for Zenaku to actually be able to follow him, even once he does figure out how he's approaching this. This is smart. If he does pull this off, it would be huge. He gets the dire orb off, then goes up for the Mega. The second time we've seen him pull off a nice play like that into this game. Unfortunately, he hasn't got much off the back of it, but it did spook Zenaku. It's forced him back. Finally, he's going to get another major item as he'll pick up the heavy. dramis is ridiculously low, so he needs to be careful.
dramis is always putting himself in a position where he can get away with no problems and manage to get some of his health orbs and the armor. But at this point, this could be a second frag for either one of these players, but Zenaku finally gets a Mega of his own, but the heavy's not for a while yet, so dramis needs to seriously be careful. Those defensive rockets and rails may help him out, but I like what he's doing here, just trying to put himself in more of an unorthodox position. Oh, but my word, that may help him out massively, as he's going to try and contest the heavy, but will he come into play? Surely not. No, Zenaku, from the skin of his teeth, managed to get that first frag for himself and an opportunity to try and capitalise and equalise things.
Couldn't really play for an aggressive frag instantly off the back of the spawn. Now he definitely can, though. He's been able to make his move over towards Mega, snatch it away, do a nice amount of damage to leave dramis on the back foot. In terms of ammunition, though, he's running slightly low on LG. Luckily, he'll be able to replenish his rockets, and he's also going to get the armor as well. So Zenaku gearing himself up for another scrap here, Harry. You could try and tie this up 2-2 apiece.
That's right. He's got a little bit more LG ammo now to work with, so at least when he forces an engagement, he'll feel much more comfortable than he has done previously. Sadly, missed that rail, but still got the stack to work with. Still got 3 minutes on the clock. Plenty of time to work with. But you can't leave it too little too late, because with that Dire Orb he can get himself off so many particular situations. But then again, dramis has been using that orb to bait out so many circumstances, certain scenarios which he just should not have done, and managed to take some of the heavies and megas previously.
Yeah. We've seen him and Nosfer today actually use it in quite interesting ways. Talking of interesting, this could actually be quite an important fight for the overall game. Zenaku still feels comfortable with the amount of time he has left and not really feeling like he needs to overcommit into any of these yet. He's willing to waste a little bit more time to fully get the Mega. Now starts to dive back in. dramis really, really low. Zenaku falls back off, gets the heavy, puts himself into a position where he's got the highest percentage of winning. If he pulls this off and has to go back into a fight, fires off a high-octane rail that won't really connect, dives in with the rocket. 2 seconds till Mega's up. He's going to snatch it, but he needs to finally put dramis to bed and get this kill, and it will be the LG to finish. No, instead it's the super shotgun to finish him.
Finally managed to take him out, and again, 80 damage on that one spawn, and my word, it's looking very bad for dramis, but from behind, surely this is another frag. Yes, it is. This is the Zenaku we saw in that first map last week between him and Nosfer, and we're seeing that aggression once more. Finally been able to work out dramis, but that piercing sight has done so much work, so much help for him here. And those hourglasses constantly making sure he's keeping track on dramis's whereabouts.
This is lovely. A much better spot to be in.
Oh,
straight into the direct.
my word.
What? Oh, the prediction there from Zenaku.
My goodness, yeah, it's just adding more salt to the wound now, but he needs to be careful. dramis needs to switch his style. He needs to get in when he can. This could be his one opportunity, but he's got such a huge stack. No, it won't be the case. Minute 10 now. I've got to find those 3 frags somehow, some way. It's doable, but at this point, the way Zenaku is playing, he's had fabulous control for the last few minutes.
Still trying to go for more of these pre-fire rockets to spang them out. This is the one time it seemed much more favour towards dramis, though. Fully committing to dive in, but actually the rocket response with a close range rail, point blank, as he'll pop dramis to pieces. Oh, that is disgusting.
That should not have happened. His defensive rockets were down to a T, and that rail's not going to help a second one. Is he going to go for a third one? Just barely misses his, but he's already done the damage necessary. And, well, let's be honest, as I say that, managed to take him down. He's going to try and go for another spawn. No, oh, well, a little bit late, which I like from dramis. Delayed it just a little bit, just in case it did happen, which he done. But now it's way too little too late. 5 frags between the 2 players. 10 seconds left, it's done and dusted. Zenaku, seen a lot from him. It took him a little bit of time to adjust and adapt to how dramis plays. But got there in the end, Jackie.
Yeah, I mean, this is madness when you think about it. The fact that in Poland, dramis was the one that 2-0'd Zenaku, and now online, fueled, looking for revenge, he's been able to 2-0 this so far. In response, this has gone incredibly well, and there's also the potential that he could try and make this a 3-0 if he carries on with this trend.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, dramis was played that perfectly. His defensive rails were good. If he took a bit of damage, he's always had enough time to get away, or at least enough space to make sure he can recuperate again and then fight another day. Yeah. But I felt like if Zenaku got that one frag, then, not saying it's all over, but he'll get to a stage where it'll be too aggressive. It's pretty much his playground. He can do whatever he likes, and that's exactly what we saw. Not many well, I'd say bigger risks from both of these players, but we've seen some really calculated plays from both of them.
Oh yeah, we definitely have. I mean, a 2-1 rather, of course, rather than the 3-0. But it's wild how actually close of a series this has been already. You know, we've seen obviously in the first map over on Molten, it literally just goes down to 1 frag that's able to scavenge it away. Here, Zenaku just looks like an absolute mean machine, just blowing him away with some of the things he's been able to pull off. It was absolutely magnificent. Also, it's just impressive with the predictive rockets he was actually getting out. Playing around his boundaries as well, you've got to think, right? Like, obviously, trying to play around the ping and the environment that he's in, he's done a fantastic job with being able to land some of those predictive rockets. That's crazy. Like, the fact he did it so perfectly and he's pulled it off to such a high degree. I don't know. Zenaku, he looks on form right now, Harry. If he can keep this up, obviously, a 2-1 over dramis would be a huge scoreline to walk away with if he can take it on the next map. And if anything to go by, this is a great show that when they do actually go for consistent fights and they're not just going to be playing for time, he definitely has the aim to back that up.
Look at those. You're talking about predictive rockets. They were great too. But those defensive ones, every single time without fail, he's managed to pull it off. And there was so many scenarios he should not have got away with and managed to each and every time. Zenaku's looking very good. You got to remember, this is only like his second or third game.
Yeah. That's the crazy part, right? Is obviously did damage in challenges, got a lot of people talking about him, came to Poland, was able to win the games that he absolutely needed to win to get into the league. Potentially, the longer this goes on, the more we could see shine through from him, because there were some really nice moments in that game. Some of the gameplay he pulled off was lovely. In terms of the movement combined with the actual use of his rockets, those rockets were looking pretty powerful.
They were disgusting. He was a dangerous man. Like, when it comes to playing defense, you've got to seriously be careful with his whereabouts and what he's up to next. And I think dramis is going to be extra cautious now. He's playing very defensive after he gets each and every frag. And I think he's going to continue to do that, being more careful. He's got to really... I would probably say assume, like, there's some things he can do, some things he can't do. But I think he's realised now that Zenaku is one of those players where he plays a little bit like Nosfer, but has the movement where he's a bit more cautious in terms of the whereabouts and the assumption of his game sense. So I think in that kind of retrospect, depending on how things will pan out, he can't give dramis that first frag. But if dramis does, he ain't going to make the same mistakes twice.
It'll be interesting to see if actually we do fall back into more of a much slower style of game that we saw initially on Molten as well, based off the fact that dramis is now going to be like, well, look, I have to give him a lot more respect. We can't actually play too crazy in terms of the firefights because it just didn't work out well. We do have the kill coming out as well, so let's see if this pineapple boy can start popping people open with those grenades.
This is the map we definitely will not see a one frag game between two of these incredible players, but dramis already got the stack he requires and needs. It's just a matter of how and when he decides to play it slow. A little bit, you could say, to Base's style, when he's looking for his audio cues and waiting for him to decide on his first move. But so far, so good. Really putting Zenaku on his toes. He's got the height advantage, and now he's got the heavy to just make matters worse for him.
Slowing it down a little bit here. dramis looking like he wants to try and set up a trap, potentially. You've got to think about the amount of splash damage he can do in an instant. He is definitely a highly explosive player, not only by nature, but also just by current champion, as he will wait for Zenaku to make the first mistake. 3 seconds till Heavy's up. He's in a prime time position to be able to grab that. Did set up the trap to expect the push coming around from Zenaku as well. Fires off one pineapple to spook him back, and now we fall a little bit more into normality.
Yeah, he was definitely scared beyond belief there, but it's the turret he should be extra scared of in terms of the placement of where he actually put it. But lovely tri-bolt shots there. He's got the info he's so desperately required. But even now, he is going to push straight through. Will he get that first frag on the board? It's so close between two with a similar stack. Only 11 HP now for dramis. And my word, how has he managed to stay alive here? Takes down the turret. So to help things just a little bit more, but it seems like they're both backed off. That mega will be coming up, but dramis knows that it's going to get taken, and now to try to find another route for his arsenal.
I thought he was actually going to die at the turret then.
Yeah, I did as well.
It looked like that was the way things were going. I don't know how he was actually able to pull that off, but luckily he did. And now we get back into this. 2 minutes in already. They started to actually space themselves out a little bit, keep their distance. They're not going to fully commit to a fight just yet until they've got a good stack to play with. dramis basically proving that he is going to be the herald of the heavy, and Zenaku will be the master of the mega, firing out a lot of explosives right now. The near miss on the rail as well. It's unfortunate for so much ammunition used, nothing was actually connected.
That was a real shame, and like you said before about the turret, doesn't matter too much. If you're not in an engagement, you can strafe out the way the turret, so it won't do any damage and you can take your time and take it out. But if it's mid-engagement, then yeah, it's a real pain in the backside. That's why turret placement is so key. But look at the damage he managed to pull off there. Real nice little bit of LG here and there. Still on his toes, and it has the mega, and will pick up their armor too, just to make things make matters a little bit worse for Zenaku, but speaking of matters worse, gets a nice LG on him to finish things off. Great rotate there from dramis.
It's a lovely way to start things in his favour. That's that kill on the board. 3 minutes deep as well. It's not as crazy as Molten, but definitely quite a substantial amount of time to pass before the opening frag comes out here. Zenaku dives back off. It's the first time dramis has actually been able to completely lock it down with both major items. A sliver of damage done by the turret, but he will be able to blow it to pieces. Listening out for the audio cues as well, as he just skulks around, trying to set himself up in a position to get a trap on Zenaku.
dramis doesn't need to do too much. He's got all the control he needs. It's just a matter of time. But as I say, that the LG from Zenaku is looking very good, but the rockets from dramis are even better. My word, he will get that top mid control once more. We'll get the Mega fully stacked up once again. But one thing I've noticed that dramis isn't really trying to stop him from congestion of the rockets. He's just rather wait up top, see if he goes for the telly. If not, see if he goes up the lift on the other side on heavy. But look at this though. I'm not too sure. I think he assumes that he hasn't got the rockets as of yet. I'm assuming he hasn't. But I like it though, you know. It's very difficult to play this map without any kind of rocket control in any shape or form. But so far looking good for dramis, looking very healthy.
Yeah, he's done well. The rockets have finally been snatched there from Zenaku as well. Turns the corner, trying to do a little bit of damage. Ooh. This actually could get messy fairly quickly, especially if they're landing rails like that. dramis, he's able to punish Zenaku from a distance, will take out the turret in the end. Quick flick up towards the top there, looking for a hurty-verty potentially. Instead, it will be the lightning gun that looks to do most of the damage. Another heavy going to be achieved by dramis. Zenaku, he's instantly dove off. He's fallen back as he cannot afford to take a risky fight like this, knowing how big of an advantage dramis has with his stack.
We have to, well, can't say the word, but appreciate the tri-bolt plays from dramis. He's always in the correct position, knows exactly when to use it and feed himself that information, and he's done it every single time without fail. Every time at the bottom telly to see if he's up there, and if he is, put him at bay. But this could be another frag being depending on the circumstance. Zenaku's so weak, and yes, that will be another frag for dramis, and even then his stack is still looking very healthy. He should not challenge. He's going to try and go for the Mega anyway. Surely this is a fourth one for him, and yes it is. 4-0 now for Zenaku, and considering how dramis plays, Zenaku needs to really get that first frag on the board now before all hell breaks loose.
Through the corner, takes a rocket straight to the face there. We'll have to back off from it. dramis, what more can he achieve in this one? As now he could be out for blood, actually. He knows the Zenaku stack's going to be relatively low. He's got a few distant tags off to at least punish him slightly. Zenaku drops the turret just inside the rocket room to be able to slow down a push if dramis comes on full frontal. Instead, he'll take the back door and still be able to slam into him, Harry, knocking him down very low. His HP's almost entirely gone at this point. Stack's low. His confidence seems even lower, not willing to really run any risks. But at this point, you've got 4 minutes left. You might need to take some risky fights.
He has to at some stage. There's only a few minutes left remaining, but dramis is just not given the opportunity. And look at that LG. Zenaku didn't have much room to even get anything done there. And my word, even after each fight, it's not like Zenaku can trade straight afterwards. He's just still got a healthy stack after every bout, and it's absolute madness. But we know what dramis is like. He's using the same routine every time. He needs that disadvantage you bet at the bottom telly, try bolting for info, and then go to the Mega Room from below and do the same thing. And it seems like Zenaku doesn't have an answer for that at this point.
Yeah, I suppose that is the crazy part, right? Is basically his route has gone unchanged for the most part. And I think Zenaku either hasn't realized the way he's been rotating, or just, as you said, doesn't have any idea of how to stop it.
I think he's having trouble with how to stop it, because even if he has the control of top mid or anything around that Mega area, it doesn't matter, because dramis can now just keep away from him and just wait for him to run into those defensive rockets. But this could be Zenaku's main opportunity. But as I say, that he's kept back so well. Even though dramis is only on 64 HP, manages to recuperate, get the job done, and now he's got the Mega once more. My goodness, Zenaku is not having a good time on Vale.
No, he's not at all. This hasn't worked out well for him. That's the other potential factor is Keel on Vale Still looking damn good. It's not only when Rafa plays him, dramis as well, being able to put those shoes on and show that it's definitely a champ that could be quite annoying with the amount of pineapples you can get out just for that extra splash damage. Tries to fire off two there. Oh, all three of them are going to just go straight through.
And typical, he goes in straight after they've all been taken down, so that was a great play there by Zenaku, but even then, what can he do? Can he actually get another frag? No, he won't. It's making it serious hard work for him at this stage, but my word, dramis is keeping him at bay. I told you before, and I'll say it again, dramis will not make the same mistake twice. He's realised after that second map, but his LG is looking quite good. He's just going to try and finish him off on 15 HP. Ooh, that was nice, but the turret does clean up eventually. But it's still a trade. 5 frags for him to try and actually get in this next minute and a half. It's going to be very difficult, but not impossible.
Hashtag free brick. Rocket's coming back out though. I mean, 1 frag, any chance of him actually getting more right now is going to be marginal. It's definitely not looking like he's in a good position. Nearly actually went down to the pineapple as well that was behind him, as he's still going to be pumping those out, hoping to finish him off. He's got 60 seconds for 5 frags. It's just not really achievable. He put up such a good fight over on Blood, but now it seems like we've gone back to normality, and dramis is hoping to be able to shut this series down a 2-1 fashion.
Yeah, dramis is really not really paying much attention. I was going to say, he hasn't actually taken much damage from the turret until that moment in time. But I feel like Zenaku's just been using his turret for information more than anything. And then again, look at these rails, my words. I'm not surprised at this point. We'll take the turret down. He hasn't, no, he's got too much health. It's still 30 seconds, still needs 7 frags. Not going to happen, but you are right though. It's nice to see dramis back on top once more.
Yeah. Played his play style, didn't break from the norm, and was able to just do everything he wanted basically over the course of this entire map. Just Zenaku didn't have an answer to stop him. I think in the end, that's what really sealed the deal. Finally goes down. It seems like 9-1 is going to be the final frag tally.
That's it. That's done and dusted. dramis, after all of that, manages to come out on top with some great setups, great plays. And one of the main things to talk about there is how dramis managed to take that victory by such a large margin. Let's be real. It's not about the 14 heavies and the 13 megas. Okay, it plays a little bit of a part, don't get me wrong. The main thing is he would always hide up top mega, make sure he's waiting outside the telly, so no matter what situation is, he'll get first shot. If he goes for the heavy, then he's got the height advantage. But the thing is, if he was below, he has the tri-bolt, he'll win the bottom telly, he'll try and feed the info to himself every single time, he'll go to the mega. So even if, you know, Zenaku gets all the bits and pieces, all he wants for the puzzle, it's not going to help him too much because they're both going to be on a similar stack every single time. But even with dramis, he still had a great stack after every single bout, and there's no way Zenaku can just rush in and trade because he knew it wasn't an advisable option.
No, he always just had the upper hand in pretty much every one of these fights we went into. dramis just seemed like he had the better understanding of how to play it for the most part throughout this one. It's unfortunate for Zenaku, as he did have a good display into the series. Obviously, this is the biggest blowout of a map we've had as well, considering the fact that Molten, literally 1 frag was all that was required to close it out, and that came in very late into the game. I think it was like 8 minutes 40 we saw him finally get that kill, which was like a pixel shot. Madness on quite a filthy Kurt angle, but you know, he did win it away. And then obviously over on Blood, whole different story. Zenaku just looked dominant as ever, really came out swinging. And to close it out here, it was the dramis show, just proving that he is still a bit of a big man when you let him play the way he wants to.
Well, it's like I said before, you know, hashtag remove the tail. It's a shame really, that little bit of hitbox just didn't do it for him. But it was weird. Molten Falls, you know, even though it was 1-0, it was very enjoyable. They were still consistently finding each other throughout the course of the board. But even then, it's like, it was very hard. It's very easy, you know, when you see those frag games like 1-0, 2-1 or whatever, you know, it's very slow. Everyone's walking, trying to find out the next audio cue, what decision shall I make afterward. But they were in each other's faces all the time. dramis played that so well, you know, he didn't give him any kind of substance, any kind of opportunity, or any room to even figure out what he can actually do next. It's very difficult to play against a Slash or Molten Falls.
No, they were willing to actually take a lot of the fights, because that's the crazy part, right? Is obviously you look at that series, you think 1-0, they must have been very distant the entire time and not really been going for it, just playing for items. But instead, actually, there was many scraps where they got down to ridiculously low HP, but no one wanted to take that first risk, right? Of, okay, well, if I lose this pick, obviously things are going to start to fall apart. Instead, they just quite happily playing really defensive. Zenaku definitely proved that he has a lot to give, though, over on Blood. I think that was the nice affair, is that we are seeing there's so much more signs of life than I think potentially people initially expected coming into it. He can do a lot of damage. Hopefully we get more of that going forward. Going forward for today, though, let's have a look what is coming up next, as we do have our next match of the day, Tox versus Razy. Tox, an old school legend in his own right, still at times when he performs like the young man he used to be, it looks crazy. He is fast, he is ferocious, wonderful to watch when we see that true Tox. But on the other hand, Lethal, Razy, the words even describe what this man can do.
Already I see Corrupted Keep, and I'm like, poor Tox.
Razy's keep, yeah.
Yeah, he is ridiculous. Like, how he controls the Mega, or literally abuses the map geometry down there, it's phenomenal. Like, you know, it's very rare to at least, you know, try and bait and switch out of it. But then again, with Tox, if we see the version of Tox we love to see when he's on form, he's absolutely going mental, his aim's on point, super fast. That's the Tox we used to know and still know now. It just only flares up now and again, but it needs to flare up now because, let's be real, you know, it's Razy. He's very consistent. Very rare he has a bad game, and Tox cannot afford any of that at all here.
No, yeah. That's the hard part, right? Is it doesn't even do it justice of being like Tox needs to play to his absolute best of his ability, because Razy is pretty much proved, unless you are Rafa, he will be able to beat you. And that's a pretty big margin to have, right? You know, if Rafa's the only person you're still falling to, it leaves, I mean, nothing up to the imagination. It just shows just how good he can be. He is the God Slayer, and that is going to be coming up after the break. We'll be back in with that. You won't want to miss it. There's potential for some craziness coming out from another special Swede we have in the league, or you've also just got the fact it's Razy. Don't miss it. We'll be back after the break.